and welcome to Students Speaking Up. My name is Queen Belina, and I'm a senior at Winston Churchill High School and co-founder of Students Speaking Up. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and the necessity of distance learning have taken a toll on the social and emotional well-being of the county's student body. Students from across Montgomery County have demonstrated a desire to connect more deeply and directly with their peers and receive meaningful mental health support. As a result, this program is being launched by students and for students in collaboration with MCPS-TV and the Montgomery County Student Wellbeing and Achievement Team to address this pressing need, and to create a platform for students across the county to express their voices on the issues that impact them and that they find relevant to the lives of young people today. We're here today to talk about South Asians in media and government with Oishi from Walt Whitman High School.
Hello, it's such a pleasure to be here. So today I'm going to talk about how South Asian portrayal in media as well as in government. So to start off with, I'm going to just say an actual ad from a professional theater company. It says, "Actor needed, must be South Asian, 30 to 40, and must speak Indian." So at first glance, it may not look like a regular ad, but listen again. Actor needed, must be South Asian, 30 to 40, must speak Indian. Indian is not a language, and it never was. But this stereotype is what most people have when they think of South Asian population people and what language we speak. This same stereotype happens with East Asians as well. As a member of the South Asian community, I can go back and think to a couple of times where things like this have happened. Once I was asked, "Do you speak Hinduism?" as well as, "Aren't you from Hindu?" Unfortunately, this isn't the last of the stereotype received. The stereotypical Indian characters, such as Apu from The Simpsons, which portrayed him as the lovely store owner, the entirety of the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, and Raj from The Big Bang Theory. These stereotypes have created ignorance to proper representation, as well as created a contributing factor to the model minority myth. Although in recent media and government there is an increase in South Asian representation, such as Kamala Harris as the first Black and South Asian woman vice president, there is still some stereotypes in recent years, such as the celebration of AAPI month this May. For a second-generation South Asian, navigating through cultures continues even today's globalized world. The celebration of AAPI month, this May, drove home that feeling even more. I was asked why I should celebrate AAPI month when I wasn't Asian. Last I checked, India was part of Asia, I answered guilty. But as I reflected on it later, I realized that AAPI month did not officially celebrate South Asians. As we know, May was chosen since the first Japanese immigrant arrived in the US on May 7, 1843. And the Golden Spike was driven into the first continental railroad, which was built by primarily Chinese labor on May 10, 1869. So what does it mean to be South Asian in the US? Well, let's look at the word South Asians use as Asians in the media, popular press, and the government. The word Asians is defined as a group of native or a native in Asia or descendant from Asia. Despite the fact that countries such as India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and more are part of it, modern media as well as companies and cultural institutions widely interpret the meaning as East Asian, leaving the stories of South Asians behind. Their historical and current narratives create ignorance towards Southern Asians. In the recent celebration of AAPI Heritage Month, companies have celebrated this month by putting up advertisements in support, as well as creating merchandise displaying their allyship. Although most showed extreme support for most Asian communities, South Asian communities were very vaguely seen. For example, some companies created backgrounds for the month with different pictures of various East Asian communities, and there'd be 10 of them showing Japan, China, Korea, as well as multiple other ones. But to add to the Indian stereotype, the platform also showed one picture of the Taj Mahal, one picture to describe a whole South Asian community. This happened over multiple platforms as well, and it changed how I interacted with people because it made me feel like I didn't count as Asian, and nor was I part of it. And in order to combat this, I believe that there needs to be more talk about not just East Asian culture or representation as well, but also South Asian. Both are equally as important and should not be celebrated on stereotypes. So as well as on the topic of stereotypes, there's this big thing called the model minority myth. And the model in the minority is a minority demographic whose members are perceived to achieve a higher degree of socioeconomic success than the population average, thus serving a reference group to outgroups. And this notion was created, and it made the stereotypical model minority the quiet, law-abiding, reserved, and smart citizen, and it's created the bamboo silent ceiling. It has been used by a lot of Fortune 500 companies where like you're welcome to sit at this table and because you behave, but you can't speak up, nor can you sit at it because you're not high enough in management. It has also been shown by Harvard Business Review that Asian Americans, specifically women Asian Americans, are least likely group in the US to be promoted to management, which has created implicit bias and racism. They created this small minority to oppress other groups, specifically African Americans, to say basically, hey, this group of people did great after World War II, and this is how you should be from now on. But instead, it's created this racial wedge between communities for years, which has been used to undermine the activism of African Americans and more. It is proposed that Asian Americans were more successful than other minorities because of hard work. This has been portrayed in the media, such as Raj from The Big Bang Theory, who is very characteristic and shy, but a very, very smart Indian character. But in recent years, there have been more Indian representation, such as the hit show, Never Have I Ever. This stars Devi, who is a teen looking for more than just good grades or more than just being quiet and submissive. In fact, she's the quite opposite of what the model minority portrays, which is a great representation. And not only that, their creator, Mindy Kaling, has paved the way for so many more Southern Asian representations, as well as destroyed the myth of the white validation, which is unknowingly inside of most Asians these days. And it's basically where most Asians like to have white validation in front of the peers so it makes themselves look better. And it's very unknowing. But I realized that my identity will forever remain muddled in its complexity, torn apart by my need to belong to both cultures unless I take agency. It is for me to change perceptions one person at a time and chart my own course, where my birth country and my South Asian heritage blend seamlessly together like a kaleidoscope, creating beautiful, ever-changing, and complex patterns, unique but essential part of the whole.
Oishi has reflected on the unique discrimination South Asians face within the media and our political institutions, as well as on a larger scale. The past year in particular has highlighted the widespread nature of racism within our society. The aim of Students Speaking Up is to highlight the experiences of MCPS students and how the issues within our county affect them. Despite the challenges they faced, the students of MCPS continue to speak up. Anyone interested in becoming involved with the program can go to tinyurl.com/studentspeakingup to help us elevate discussions about mental health, racial discrimination, and other topics that affect students on a county level. Thank you and goodbye.